Okay, guys, I guess you have signed up to listen to me talk for about 15-20 minutes. So let's do it. I was searching Taipei Times for interesting things to read. And of course, there is an article about banned devices in use at 2,596 public offices. I didn't think that was very interesting. Let's see. Ministry welcomes US pledge of vaccines. We will be talking about that. I thought that was interesting, not for the fact that they're giving us vaccines, but for something else altogether. Okay, I have no interest in this. Anytime I see anything with politics, I just skip it because I think there is too much politics in Taiwan already. So we're not going to be doing that. Military to test tank guns on Taiwanese-made units. Okay, that might be kind of interesting, but a little bit too technical, I think. And everything else is about COVID, which we are more than aware of, right? Okay, so there's nothing really interesting about the news today, although we are going to read a bit about COVID because what else is there to talk about? But as we talk about it, maybe we'll talk about something else. Okay, here we go. All right, so as part of the fight against the pandemic, we meaning the Taiwanese government, has implemented tighter and tighter controls. I just heard today that school will be canceled until the end of summer, which is terrible. And bushibans are also unable to have class until at least June 28th. So we're going to be here for a while, okay? All right, let's talk about this, all right? All right, so traditional markets to be controlled. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, well, traditional markets as opposed to supermarkets, right? So Jialefu and Quanlian, those are supermarkets. Traditional markets are more along the lines of Caiqiya, right? That perhaps your mother likes to go to. Traditional markets offer some advantages over supermarkets, according to my wife and my mother. I don't know what though, but apparently the vegetables are more fresh or something like that. Okay, so traditional markets to be controlled. Okay, do not stay too long, it says. This is funny, right? People would be required to provide personal contact information when entering traditional markets, and illegal vendors would be fined. Okay, so then if you are an illegal vendor, illegal means 不合法. Vendor is the food stands, right? The people who do business in traditional markets. They will be fined if they are found to be doing business, okay? As they should be, right? We don't want anything illegal to happen, okay? There's something wrong with my connection, okay? So illegal vendors would be fined, okay? And this phrase right here has become very, very common and well known. And the phrase is to provide personal contact information. 实名制, right? Yes, to provide personal contact information. So even traditional markets are requiring that you provide personal contact information. Okay. The Central Epidemic Command Center, also known as the CECC, yesterday announced 5 crowd control measures, okay, for traditional and night markets, as it reported 335 locally transmitted COVID-19 infections, 8 backlog cases, and 36 deaths, okay? So the 8 backlogged cases we talked about last time, that is good news, okay? That's good news because that's just a few backlog cases. The 39 deaths, terrible news, right? That's terrible news. I think it was a record, okay? And 335 locally transmitted cases. In my opinion, it has flattened out a little bit, right? So we're hovering around high 200s, low 300s. I think that's the number that we're gonna hover at. Okay, it's gonna flatline out that way, and then and we drag on the time a little bit longer, and then eventually we will beat this thing, okay? But anyway, the 8 backlog cases is good news. 36 deaths, bad news, and 335 locally transmitted cases is okay. All right, so here, I guess it's worth talking about the word measure. You know the word measure to mean you measure something with a ruler, right? You take a ruler and you measure how long, your desk is, or your book is, or whatever it is, right? Okay. But here, measures doesn't mean to measure how long something. And here, measures means ways, okay, right? Precautions, okay? So a measure in this context means a precaution, right? Yeah, 措施, right? Yes. So measures here means precautions, okay? It means methods, okay? Even, right? You can say it's methods, I guess, and so on and so forth, okay? Just 方式, right? 措施, all right. So they announced 5 crowd control measures, precautions, methods, okay, rules, whatever, okay, for night markets and traditional markets. Now let's continue. Minister of Health and Welfare, Chen Shizhong, who heads the center, said that the 335 new local cases are 189 males and 146 females, adding that they developed symptoms from May 24th to Saturday. This here, symptoms, was a word that we talked about in great detail last time, okay? Think about the symptoms that are usually manifest, symptoms that usually manifest when you have COVID-19. All right. The 8 backlogged cases are 3 men and 5 women aged 20 to 70, Chen said, okay? All right, let me see. All right, and this part is refers to the video, which I'm going to cut and paste, okay? All right, let's continue. We'll go to the video later. Let's continue with the article. They began experiencing symptoms on Tuesday and Wednesday, he said. As most of the pending cases due to delayed test results or reporting have been cleared, the center would no longer report backlogged cases, he added. So the 8 backlogged cases is a very low number. So in other words, the backlog cases are declining to a point where it will make up a very small percentage of the total number, right? So basically, so for example, the 335 plus 8 backlog cases is 343. So, but 8 out of 343 is nothing, right? So they will no longer be reporting separate numbers for the backlogged cases, okay? Which I think makes sense. I don't know, right? Okay. Let's see here. Oops. Of the 343 local infections reported yesterday, 160 live in New Taipei City, followed by Miaoli County with 75, Taipei with 64, and Taoyuan with 16, he said, adding that the high case count in Miaoli is mainly due to cluster infections at electronics companies there. What is cluster infections? 群聚感染, whatever, huh? 群聚, I think that's so hard to say. All right. 群聚, all right. So a cluster, maybe I'll give you an example of what a cluster is. Maybe we could find a cluster photo. Or maybe we could find it. So here it is. Oh, here it is right there. Right. Perfect. We have a good, it's all about, well, let's look at this one first. Now see, this is a cluster, right? Let me move my photo out of the way, my handsome photo. That's a cluster, that's a yellow cluster and red cluster and a blue cluster. A cluster is just a group of things together. And if we go back to this photo, it shows how cluster infections occur within a community, right? So you have a cluster here. Oh, why isn't this loading? It doesn't matter, okay? You have a cluster here, and a cluster here, and a cluster here. So that's how the word cluster is what the word that we use to describe 群聚感染, cluster, okay? Let me see, there we go. That's another good example of cluster, right? Now, this is about industry clusters, but it doesn't matter. The principle is the same, right? Yes, somebody comes over here and then it starts a new cluster. Another person comes here and starts a new cluster. All right, cluster infections, okay? All right, and mainly due to cluster infections in electronic companies in Miaoli, all right? I'm not sure which electronic companies they're talking about. I haven't heard that on the news. Okay, good. So before we go on to the next article, let's just look at this, right? Yes. And there's a police officer standing a police officer, well, let's just read the caption. A police officer standing at the entrance of a traditional market in Taipei yesterday holds a sign urging people to follow disease prevention measures. Okay, see, the sign is a placard, right? Or a placard, right? Placard. Okay, yes. Another way to say sign is placard, right? Yes. I don't know. I just love this word. I like placard. This word. This word is one of my favorite words. But I can't highlight it. Here we go. Placard. Okay, very good. Oh, look at these two people. They are wearing matching jackets, couples jacket, right? Yes, lovers jackets, matching jackets, right? Yes, that's cool. I'm gonna write that. Yeah, matching jackets they have. Isn't that wonderful? Look, matching jackets. That's another caption that you can. Matching jackets. That's cool. See, they have enough sort of EQ, or they know enough not to let the pandemic affect them too much. So when they go out shopping, they still wear matching jackets. matching clothes. That's excellent. That's cool. Okay. All right. So this is a photo. I don't know. And again, here's the word measures, which means precautions. It doesn't mean to measure something. It means precautions, right? As we talked about here, right? Okay. All right. Let's continue. All right. So where is that? Okay, here we go. Let me that. Well, my cut. Something was wrong. Cut. There we go. And paste. Here we go. And we're not gonna do this, are we? Okay, I have no idea how to get rid of this, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's look at this. So the next article that we found was about the fact that the United States, our friend, has promised to donate 750,000 doses of vaccines to us, which is a good news. Not nearly enough. We probably need 100 times that. We need 75 million vaccine doses, not 750,000. Okay, so we need more doses than that. But it's a good gesture. We gave them lots of masks. When they were in trouble, I believe the news said that we donated, we gave them, we gifted them with 10 million masks, I believe. Okay, so now they're giving us back 750,000 doses of vaccines. Okay, which is fair, I guess. Okay. All right, donate. That's an interesting word. Donate just means give, obviously. But I wanted to say that, did you know that the word gift, liu, the noun, can be used as a verb to gift someone? Okay, so for example, so in other words, you can say past tense, gifted, right? But remember, if you use the word gifted, you have to follow it with the word with. So let's say Henry gifted Stephanie with a gift, with a pair of earrings, with a new iPhone, right? So someone gifted someone with something. That's a word that people don't usually think about when they want to say things like give or donate, or as the Chinese YouTube channels always say, donate, right? Yes, so donate. All right, so here's that word again, dose. Okay, dose. A dose of the vaccine, right? When you take shots, okay, it goes in doses, right? One dose is how much you get in one shot, is one dose, okay? So if you get 2 shots, it's 2 doses, okay? So that's what a dose is, okay? So the US is to donate 750 doses of COVID-19 vaccine to Taiwan. A delegation of 3 US senators said in Taipei yesterday, okay? So a delegation is a group of government officials that you send on behalf of your own country, right? So they sent the US sent us a delegation, okay? In other words, these people, these senators, have certain powers to do certain things, okay? In other words, they have some responsibilities and decision-making abilities delegated to them by higher officials. So maybe the president, maybe President Biden says to them, all right, you 3 senators go to Taiwan and I delegate to you certain powers to make certain decisions. You can give away COVID vaccine doses, whatever. Okay, so that's what a delegation is. So it is a delegation of 3 U.S. senators. Okay, I saw in the news, right? I don't know them, but they were apparently 3 U.S. senators. Okay, senators. Senators are like, well, let's go back to delegation. A delegation is a group, I don't know, of government officials. I don't know. A group of government, what am I? A group of government officials sent to another country. That is a delegation. What a long, I'm sure there's a better way to describe it, to define it. So a group of government officials sent to another country on some official business, okay? All right, so, and senators, they're, senators in the U.S. are like, 立法委员 in Taiwan, okay? They have a different system there, it's a little bit different, but generally speaking, that's what they are. All right. The delegation made the announcement during a brief stopover in Taiwan. I believe they were only here for a few hours, okay? It was just a stopover, okay? When you have a stopover, you don't stay overnight. You just stay for a couple of hours, okay? And then you fly away. 转机 can be described as a stopover, okay? Right? So let's say on the way to America, you have to have a stopover in Hong Kong, for example, or in Japan, something like that, okay? All right. The White House on Thursday announced that it aims to donate at least 80 million doses globally by the end of this month. So they have 80 million globally doses that are available to give away, okay, by the end of this month, okay. And so the U.S. This delegation, in other words, this delegation of 3 senators, right, this group of people, this time around, they have the power to give away 80 million doses to different countries worldwide, and they have decided to give us 750,000. All right, the donation would be a part of the first, I have no idea what this tranche of 25 million doses. Okay, all right. Tranche. Oh, I know what this is. It just means batch. Okay, a first group of 25 million doses. Let's see. Okay, we can look it up. Yes. Okay. Right. So tranche means a portion of something, okay, especially money. But here we're not talking about money. We're talking about a batch, a portion of something. In other words, it is a batch of something. I've not heard that word in a long time. Almost forgot it. Okay, so the donation would be a part of the first batch, tranche of 25 million doses, okay? All right. Let's continue. So eventually, I guess we will get 25 million doses from the US. Let's hope it comes through. It was critical to the United States that Taiwan be included in the first group to receive vaccines because we recognize our urgent need. We recognize your urgent need and we value this partnership, okay? All right, so the US said, one of the senators said that she recognizes Taiwan's urgent need for vaccines. And that is why we are one of the first countries to get this first batch of vaccines. Okay, U.S. Senator Tammy Ducks, sorry, not Ducks, U.S. U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth said in a brief address at Taipei International Airport, without mentioning the brand of the vaccines or when they were expected to arrive. Okay, so it is important that she did not say what kind of vaccines we will be getting or when they will arrive. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, because in Taiwan, this seems to be important. This seems to affect how many people want to get the vaccines. Okay, and you can agree with that or disagree with that. I don't know. All right. So here address doesn't mean these. Here address means a speech. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, address just means a speech. Okay. All right, and that's all. But what I want to talk about is this, right? You see that? What's more important than the vaccine, in my opinion? You see that? So these are the three senators, and it says that this guy, it says, let me see, from left, Department of North American Affairs Director General Douglas Hsu, this guy right here, Douglas Hsu, that's him. U.S. Senators Dan Sullivan, hey, I heard of it. Tammy Duckworth, that's her in the wheelchair. She doesn't have legs. She apparently was in some kind of accident. We can look it up. And Minister of Foreign Affairs Joseph Wu, right there. And U.S. Senator Chris Coons, and American Institute in Taiwan Director Brent Christensen. Okay, very important people. Okay, stand in front of a U.S. Air Force cargo plane at Taipei International Airport. This is the important issue here, right? This is not a Minhangji. It is not a civilian plane. It is not a civilian plane. It is a military aircraft. The last time that a military aircraft landed with our permission in Taiwan was before the severing of ties between Taiwan and America. All right, back in 1970, either 78 or 79. Okay, one of those years. Okay, so since 1978 or 79, no U.S. Air Force plane, military plane, has landed in Taiwan. Okay, and then all of a sudden, this plane just lands here. Okay, that is big news. We will hear something from China about this very soon, I imagine. Okay, there is one case where the U.S. Air Force, Navy landed its aircraft in Taiwan. That was, I think, a couple of years ago when one of its F-18s had problems and it landed in Taiwan, but that was an emergency, so that doesn't count. All right, so this is big news, and take it for what it's worth. Okay, I'm curious, maybe if you'll stay with me, let's check out Tammy Duckworth, what happened to her leg, if anything, okay, or maybe she was born that way. All right, we can Google, right? So there's nothing we can't find out if we're sitting in front of a computer, okay? Sitting in front, we can find out anything. Here is Tammy Duckworth. She is a American politician and retired in Army National Guard, Lieutenant Colonel. Whoa, that's a very, very high-ranking official. So she was in the military, and she served as the junior United States Senator from Illinois since 2017, and she's a member of the Democratic Party, of course, and she let's see, let's find out. Okay, here it is. Oh, she's a war hero apparently. Duckworth was educated at the University of Hawaii at Manoa and George Washington University. A combat veteran, that means she saw action, she was fighting in a war, she really was fighting. A combat veteran of the Iraqi war, she served as a US Army helicopter pilot. Okay. In 2004, after her helicopter was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, hit by one of those things, fired by Iraqi insurgents, fired by these guys, she suffered severe combat wounds, which caused her to lose both of her legs and some mobility in her right arm. She was the first female double amputee from the war. So she was a double amputee, means that she had to cut off both of her legs. So she was the first female double amputee. Okay, good. Well, you know what? Respect to her. Not only is she a senator, she is a combat veteran, and she actually was injured and severely in combat. So good job, Tammy. We believe you. All right. Thanks for listening to me rant for 2 hours. Not 2 hours, maybe perhaps 25 minutes. And I'll see you guys in class later, okay? All right. Peace.